Let me know. Cool.
Hey everybody, what's going on? This is G here, and we are bringing you a quick shot from Soul of a Fighter. And today we're going to be discussing Rory MacDonald joining with Bellator and what that means for the MMA community, and not just the MMA community, but like MMA fighters everywhere, and even fighters in the UFC. I mean, this is a pretty big thing where the people might know it or not, even with Rory MacDonald coming off of a. So we just wanted to discuss this really quick and see what you guys are feeling out there. Like Chris, like here, you bring us on in.
Hey, bro. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Yep, we told you we'd be bringing you fresh, breaking news, fresh content. We've got quick shot episodes, bitches, so subscribe. Okay, my name is Cyrus Stark, and like Gerald told, we're going to be discussing the breaking news of Rory signing with Rory MacDonald signing with Bellator. You can also call him Red King. We'd also like to discuss Lorenz Larkin's impending free agency and a huge offer from, again, Bellator to a certain cowboy, Cerrone, Donald Cowboy Cerrone. So lots of interesting developments that we'll discuss in the next few minutes with you guys.
So, I mean, like, even Rory just basically just going through contract finalization with Bellator MMA and everything, it's kind of like a signal for other, you know, just UFC fighters and everything to be able to want to test the free market. Whereas when Benson Henderson did it, it was kind of like, oh, he's a former champion and, you know, and other organizations want him and he let them know way ahead of time that he's going to be testing the free market. Now, fighters are just jumping on a free market like as soon as their contract is about to be over. So like, how do you feel this is kind of like a turning tide of monopoly that the UFC holds over the whole MMA world? Like, what do you think?
Okay, number one, my first reaction is, well, that's my first reaction every time a good fighter, an elite fighter, signs with Bellator. There are other places. There are other places. It's not Dana's way or the highway. It's not the UFC's way or the highway anymore. Like, there are other places that will pay better than the UFC. And even if they don't pay you better, even if they just pay you the same money, you will make more money because you don't have to wear that Reebok crap. So basically, you can basically take control of your career and have a better life for your family. If you have a family, or even if you're single, you'll have more control over your career because Bellator are not going to just take it in and do whatever with it. They're not going to put that Reebok garbage in you and limit your earnings or basically destroy your opportunities, your sponsorship opportunities. But Rory obviously is getting better paid because the UFC, as of tonight, it's official. They officially stated they will not match his
clause.
Bellator's deal. They will not match that clause, whatever they offered it.
Mm-hmm.
And they've also officially taken him off the rankings, which honestly, that's a classy, real classy. So basically, I'm sure Rory, wherever he is, good luck to him. I hope he's feeling great. I hope he's real happy about whatever they're paying him. Like, so, you know, like really, really happy. I hope he's getting drunk somewhere. And I hope he feels real good about his decision because that was a nice touch. You're not even out the door 5 minutes and they're already removing you from the rank. So
right.
Yeah, but basically that's how I feel. It's sending a message to everybody. And Rory is a star. He's a draw. So he's a big star, and he's one of the top welterweights in the world that's gone to the competition. So good for Bellator, great for Scott Coker, my favorite, and in my humble opinion, the greatest MMA fight promoter ever. And they got themselves a superstar, a potential superstar. And Rory, good luck to him. I hope he.
Right.
There you go.
I mean, and that's pretty amazing because it's like, it's saying that, hey, you know, Rory MacDonald is basically a superstar. He's an MMA superstar. Like, fighters look up to him. Fighters, whenever they think of fight of the year or like just a fighter that is going to go out there and make other fighters look good, even in a loss, it's Rory MacDonald. So the thing is,
exactly.
in his loss, even in his loss to Wonder Boy and everything like that, there's organizations still offering him tons of money. So this just sets the way for other fighters. They're like, hey, you know, I need to go out there and fight. I need to put on a show. I need to put on a performance and everything. And even in a losing performance, if I were to test the free agent market, I could also get a really huge payday or something that I deserve as a fighter.
Exactly.
You know, and that's kind of one of those things where it's like fighters are starting to notice this, and they're actually saying free market, you know, free market agency, like Lorenz Larkin, like you said, like Donald Cerrone, like you said. I mean, both those guys just came off a win, so just imagine, you know, what companies would be offering for them. Other fighters are going to be thinking about that type of stuff.
Absolutely, all of them, and all of them should. And if they aren't, they're idiots. There's only two types of fighters who are the ones who are idiots, and there aren't that many because most fighters are stupid. And then there's Michael Bisping, or as his real name goes, Michael the Cunt Bisping. Michael the Cunt Bisping, of course, we don't think about that because he's already sweet. He's a little rat. He's Dana's little rat boy who will do his bidding. So of course he doesn't want to leave UFC because he has his own way. But every other fighter, except for maybe, well, even McGregor's been at odds with him. The Leprechaun's been at odds with him. So maybe Ronda, but you know, you never know. I wouldn't put it past Dana to screw Ronda over as well. I mean, look how close he was with Cowboy. I'm going to discuss it later. And GSP and Cowboy were his boys. They were some of the greats. Different reasons. Like GSP was always a gentleman, always did everything he could to, you know, lift the sport. Cowboy the same, and Cowboy was one of these wild men who fight any time, like with 2 weeks' notice. And look what Dana did to him. It's not only like talk shit about him. When you're a promoter, you're damaging your fighter's brand. And since Dana loves, nobody likes repeating that fighters who fight for the UFC are not employees; they are independent contractors. So that brings a whole other level. So when you, Dana, likes Baldy, start talking shit about your fighter, when Donald Cerrone, of all fighters, says, I'm stating, this is actually, I'm quoting what he said. He said, I can tell in my paycheck that the UFC do not give a shit about me. Instead of calling him and saying, okay, let's work something out, or why we can do that, or whatever, he goes on Dana White and his genius self goes on a MMA shill podcast. No disrespect to Matt Serra, because I love the dude, but that podcast, MMA Uncensored, is a shill podcast because it's produced by the UFC. And he goes on there, uses the UFC's podcast to go and freaking throw the guy under the bus. Just dump all over him. Oh, yeah, he's not consistent. He never beats anybody good. What the fuck? So I really hope that Cowboy is sitting in his living room tonight thinking, what the fuck? And, Bellator, now there's an option. Even if he wants to stay in the UFC, if he wants to stay in the UFC, good for him to get the deal he wants. He shouldn't settle. He should ask. Actually, you know what? Whatever he was thinking about getting, he should double it. See how that goes.
He should leverage.
And if he doesn't like what Dana White has to say, he should tell Dana White to fuck off and tell him, I want to talk to your boss. I'm going over your head. I want to talk to Ari Emanuel and see. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit over the top tonight, but that kind of stuff really pisses me off. Like, I'm passionate about fighters. This is all about fighters, so I've got fighters back. So yeah, I feel burned. Like Rory, the way they treated him. No, I do. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that he should use Bellator as leverage. Like, he should go get an offer from Bellator, and then if he really wants to stay in the UFC, like you said, he should use that offer from Bellator to say, hey, Bellator offered me this and everything. Can you beat this?
And if just use Bellator, use everything. Use Run FC, use Road FC. If you have to, use World Series of Fighting, even though they're a freaking joke right now. Brother against what the fuck? But you know what I mean? Use any and all weapons. And you know what? If you're Asian or if I don't, this is not, but honestly, I don't give a fuck how this sounds. If you are Asian, use ONE FC. Use ONE FC because ONE FC are huge in Asia. They are the #1 Asian MMA promotion, but by a long shot. They are the UFC Asia. Even the UFC can't touch them right now. So if you're Asian, use ONE FC even more than Bellator, because if they have if the bean counters, the freaking suits at the UFC have any brain, they'll understand. Like, he's Asian, he's a badass. He's gonna go to ONE FC equals superstar. So think about it. And UFC was the one market they haven't broken yet. The one market, their only failure was Asia, especially mainland China.
Yep.
So use that, use it, and use every means. It's a war, the art of war. You use everything at your disposal. And for Christ's sakes, please, in your negotiations, include, I want to stop and slap Dana in the face, especially if you talk shit about him, because he's been damaging not only. Sorry.
No, it's fine. But it's just like, yeah, it's just really crazy, because it's like imagine if they actually give Rory, Cerrone, Larkin big figure numbers to switch and everything like that, and other fighters see this. It's going to be like a definite game changer, because Bellator now, if they start acquiring fighters like that, they're not going to be like #2 for long. They're going to be almost on equal footing if the UFC doesn't do something probably about, as you said, Dana, or something about themselves. So that just seems to would be the biggest indicator of things are definitely changing, and not in the good sense for the UFC at least, but for the MMA world, probably so.
Yeah, no, for the fight, for the people that count. Don't ever forget, people. The people that count are you, the fighters. If you're a fighter out there, whether you're amateur or professional, never forget this. You are what matters, not the promotions, not those 3 letters, not the Ultimate Fighting Connor, not the not the ONE FC, not the Bellator. Those are fine promotions. Don't get me wrong, but they're fine promotions because of you, the fighters, the guys who bleed, the guys and gals who bleed, the guys and gals who get up, get into that cage, and risk life and limb for our entertainment. So never forget that. It's not about those 3 letters. It's not about the ONE FC. It's about the Bellator.
Okay. So, as a matter of fact, speaking of Ultimate Fighting Connor and everything, you have a teaser for the episode that we have coming up. What do you got?
All right. Just before I go off on that one, I'd just like to mention Lorenz Larkin, ladies and gentlemen. Lorenz Larkin had probably the best win of his career. He's been on a tear lately. He's a badass. He's one of the best welterweights in the UFC right now. And he's about to hit the free agent market. I'm going to just say this real quick. Basically, this guy, right, he's in the top, I think he just got into the top 5 of the UFC welterweight division. This guy was at the UFC Fan Expo, and basically he was there because he bought the ticket. He wasn't invited, he wasn't let in, he didn't walk in for free, he had to buy his ticket like every other fan. So I don't know if you see something wrong with the picture or something a little odd. Like, have you ever heard of an NBA player buying a ticket to get to go watch the All-Star game or any kind of game at all or any kind of NBA? No. Why? Because they're not allowed to. You're not allowed to charge an NBA, a professional NBA player, no matter which team he plays for a ticket to go and watch any kind of basketball game that has the words NBA on it, because they have a fighters union. And you walk into any NBA event for free. Same goes for NFL. Same goes for any organized sports, any leagues. That's the way it works. So basically, I wanted to add that.
Okay. All right. Okay. So hit us with the teaser of Conor McGregor. Like, we really need to hear this.
All right. Okay. Just a couple broadsides here. Well, last weekend we witnessed definitely McGregor's best fight ever in his career. The greatest performance, the performance of heart. He showed heart for the first, for the first time, for the first time in his career, he went full 5 rounds. Like, I don't know if you're aware of it, especially you, Nick Leprechaun fans, but McGregor, or McLeprechaun, as I like to call him, had never been past the third round in his entire career. So it was interesting. It was exhilarating. And I thought Nate was amazing. In fact, I thought Nate was even more amazing because I thought Nate freaking won the fight. That's what I think, and I'm sticking to it. Now,
Okay.
if it's wrong, whatever. But basically, there's a couple of things I'd like to throw out there, and we'll discuss them at length tomorrow. Basically, no. It's not because he won a decision that I personally believe he didn't deserve that now he's ready to face Mayweather, the greatest boxer of all time, or one of the greatest, if you prefer. It doesn't mean that he can beat Mayweather. It doesn't mean that he can even get into the same boxing, to the same ring. And no, there are lots of positives, the fact that he showed heart, but there are also negatives. McLeprechaun is still in a very precarious position because there's a lot of fighters who watched that fight and thought, oh, respect to him, but okay, you don't like going past the second round, do you? And you start gassing at the end of the second round. And if you're uncomfortable, you will turn your back to me and run. Now, I don't know if you've ever wrestled or, done any kind of martial arts, but you turn your back on a wrestler, it ain't gonna go very well for you. So I'm not saying he's gonna do that if he faces, let's say, Eddie Alvarez, who's a stud wrestler. A lot of people forget that because he's so good on the feet. But yes, that would make, for example, Eddie Alvarez smile. And I'm not even going to talk about GSP because McLeprechaun, of course, says it's his destiny to fight GSP, but that would not go well either.
Right.
He's an even better taker. Well, basically, he's an even better MMA wrestler than Eddie Alvarez. So basically, yeah, stop annoying me with freaking faggotry of that sort.
All right. All right. Well, I guess that's what we're going to.
Anything to say after that? You got anything to say, Gerald?
I have nothing to say. I'm definitely going to be looking forward to discussing this more, especially with Roberto here. So, hey,
Yeah,
I mean,
awesome.
That's what we got going on for tomorrow, guys, on the next episode. So be looking forward towards that. And you have anything, Cyrus?
Yeah, I just like to add one thing. Touch button part can lead to horrible, horrible things. You warn people, first world problems.
All right. All right. Well, everybody, start looking for the episode tomorrow. Get ready for it and everything. We have a whole list of topics to discuss. So join us tomorrow as we bring you the next episode of Soul of a Fighter. And this is G here, and I am out.
Good night, guys. Cyrus out.